Hi everyone, welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles. Here today in Blackpool to have a look around the tram depot, which is turning into Tram Town. So let's go and take a look round. So we start our day watching the Bolton 66 tram built by the Electric Railway Company in 1901 make its way out of Rigby Road. This is heading down to the seafront for the day's heritage service along Blackpool seafront. You can see them just moving the pickups there as it goes out through the gate. Right in front of us there is 723, which is a double-decker streamliner or a balloon tram. And we're just coming up to the Western train. This is one of the most famous trams that takes part in the yearly illuminations. Built from an English Electric rail coach 209 and a pantograph car 174. The Western train first saw service in 1962 for the autumn season.
We can't do the bus carriage because it's out of bounds, we're not allowed.
This tram here, the yellow and purple one, is quite a famous tram. But back in 1989, a Coronation Street episode where the villain Alan Bradley was killed on the North Promenade. Well, this was the tram that was used to film that scene. And it's been in a store yard or scrap yard for many years, and has just recently been rescued and brought back to Rigby Road, where it's going to have a cosmetic restoration. Indeed, this 710 tram will be cosmetically restored and form part of the new Tram Town. We now head inside the Western train. So this is in the front part of the engine, and you can see that they've got a mock fire and various bits inside. And if you look in the top right hand corner, this is the interior of the trailing carriage, and then you can see just down the side of the train again. But as I pan across, you can see all the trams that are still in this building. So Rigby Road was the depot for the trams for many years, and when they moved over to the new Flexity Trams, this depot became redundant and the trams were still stored in here, and a group of volunteers got together to try and build a heritage service which is now running along the seafront. Now the heritage trams don't stop at the new platforms, mainly because the Flexity trams are quite wide, so there are specific stations for the heritage tours. But now the group of volunteers want to take this a stage further and turn Rigby Road depot into Tram Town, which will be its own venue in its own right. Now as we walk down into the building, you can see here I was quite intrigued by the service van on the side here, being on a Q plate, having had many kit cars over the years. Q registration is a modified vehicle. The brown tram under restoration, I believe, is the Coronation car, tram car 304, which is owned by Flight Transport Trust. Now in front of us we have 631, which is a 1937 brush rail coach. This is owned by Blackpool Transport and is currently on a regular heritage service. And to the other side we have 680, which is a 1935 rail coach built by the English Electric Company of Preston. You can see a picture of Reginald Dixon, the organ player of Blackpool Tower. So the purple tram here, number 711, is quite an interesting one actually. This is one of the B fleet. So when the Flexity trams were introduced, they kept some of the sort of traditional heritage trams running, and what they did is they sort of put a door on the side of it so that these trams could stop at the new platforms. These doors are sort of retrofitted onto the side of the traditional balloon trams. There was 9 of these in total, and as I say, this is one of them. And the red tram next to it is a 1924 standard, numbered 143, built by the Blackpool Corporation Tramways. So standard 143 is just waiting to be commissioned before it can rejoin the heritage fleet and continue to give tours on the seafront. The green tram in front of us, number 147, again is another 1924 standard, but this one built by Hurst Nelson and Co. of Motherwell. 147 is currently non-operational. It was at this point on the tour that we were shown a video about the proposals for Tram Town, and it does look fantastic. I mean, if you go searching on YouTube, you'll find the videos of what they're proposing, and it's a several part plan, but they're trying to raise money at the moment to redo the roof. Next thing is to put some doors on the front, and then actually turn this into more of an entertainment space and a workshop space. Indeed, the workshops that repair and restore these trams are all coming across into this building. So it'll be a fully functioning sort of museum, storage, event space with restoration and keeping these beautiful machines running up and down the seafront for years to come. So here in front of us we can see 718 with the Stargate on the side of it. Now if you look down the side of this tram, you can see the doors that I was talking about, the pug doors, which were added on to the fleet to make these sort of a fallback when they were introducing the Flexity Trams. So as I say, this allows these trams to stop at the new platforms along the seafront and not leave a vast gap between the edge of the tram and indeed the platform edge. 701 here, the red tram that you can see, is a double-deck streamliner, another balloon tram. And these two trams in front of us. So the red one is a 1934 boat tram built by the English Electric Company of Preston, and in the centre of the tram supports pictures of Charlie Caroli, the famous clown from Blackpool Tower. Next to it, I believe this one is one of the coronation trams. 25 coronation cars were built by Charles Roberts of Wakefield. They entered service in 1952, and hence the name Coronation, with the coronation of Queen Elizabeth in 1953. Over the back there you can see one of the famous liveries, which is 709, the Sea Life tram. If you've seen the Corgi tram series, there's some of these advertising trams have actually been released in miniature by Corgi. 715, the double-decker streamliner, again another balloon tram. Not quite sure what the white tram is here in the middle, but just panning around you get an idea of how many trams are really in here and the size of the space. Absolutely amazing. Now this one in front of us is the OMO number 8, built in 1935 by the English Electric. Don't really know a great deal about this one, except that it was referred to as the Plum and Custard. Another one of our B fleet trams there, sponsored by the Lindeen Hotel. Here we can see all the bogies that obviously for trams that are currently under restoration. Now the Lindeen Hotel tram is quite an important one, because in 2011, on the 6th of November, this one's 724, served on the final evening of the traditional tramway operations. This was one of the last trams before they moved over to the Flexity modern tram. Tram number 719 has definitely featured in the Hornby range. This is the Walls ice cream livery. And now just moving a little bit on, you see the tail end here of the very, very famous rocket tram that's used, was used years ago in the Illuminations parade. Get a glimpse here of 686, which is one of the twin cars. So it's actually two trams, they're paired together, so 686 and 676. And you can see here there's a connection between the two trams. Right, and this one here, this is quite an interesting one. This is the hover tram, number 963. So the hover tram was used creating the underframe of the 1934 English Electric Rail Coach 222. Basically a double-deck hovercraft. It's in a very sorry state now, hasn't been used for many years, but still resides here in Rigby Road. And I read that unfortunately there's no plans to bring the hover tram back into operation in the future. So to the right here we've got the orange Windsors. And to the left there you can see we've got another one of the boat trams in the distance, and then the fisherman's friend, which is known as the trawler. So the trawler was created out of a 1937 brush rail coach. It's numbered 633. And basically this is sponsored by, as I say, sponsored by Fisherman's Friends, and the family that own the production of Fisherman's Friends, which is actually just up the coast from Blackpool, paid for the lighting package on the side of this, which is now all LEDs, and this is currently used in the illuminations, and occasionally used on daytime heritage tours as well. The lighting package is, if you know, can create all kinds of patterns, so yeah, it's a very modern day lighting package on this one now. So these are guided tours around the tram depot at the moment, obviously while they're trying to raise funds to turn this into Tram Town. The volunteers here are giving guided tours around, and you know, on select days you can book yourself in. They're not too expensive, and we certainly had a good hour and a half walking around all the trams, and with some very knowledgeable people telling us about what was here. Right, just heading back towards with a better view of the rocket tram. So the rocket was inspired by the Russian space satellite Sputnik of 1957. The tram, as you can see on the front there, is named Tramnik 1. Unfortunately this hasn't run since 2014. I don't believe there's any plans again to get this running, but yeah, it's looking in a bit of a sorry state, but you know, it's one of the historical trams that a lot of people associate with the seafront, and certainly the illumination. Again, from this view you can see the amount of space that they've got here. I mean, this is going to be a wonderful attraction when they finally do open it. Absolutely amazing. And you can see the intricacies of the roof here and how much work it needs to be done to make this watertight. At the moment they were telling us that when it rains, it's you know, it just comes straight through on all these vintage trams, and it's an absolute nightmare. So in the back there is tram number 703, the Binns balloon tram from 1934. And we just make our way back up to the far side, past some of these restoration projects. And back outside. Now, if you can just make out, right in the centre of the screen there's a grey tram. That's actually HMS Blackpool, often referred to as the frigate. This was numbered 965. Unfortunately we couldn't get close to it because of the health and safety rules, obviously with all the pits in there. It was limited access. So I'm pleased to say that HMS Blackpool is currently popular feature of the current illuminations, and can also be seen on daytime heritage tours. So there you go, it's just a quick look round what they're proposing to do with this site. Hopefully they get the funding and can move forward, make this watertight, get some doors on here and look after these trams for future generations. And yeah, wish them every success with the Tram Town venture. Anyway, we'll leave that one there. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.